This right here is the brand new Insta360 Ace Pro, the very first action camera featuring a built-in AI chip. So this thing has some very clever little tricks that it has up its sleeve, but also it's co-engineered with Leica, so the lens is super dope, the image quality is amazing, and it has a 2.4-inch touchscreen on the back that flips up. A flip-up touchscreen on an action camera. Yes, it's still waterproof. Now today, instead of just telling you guys about the Ace Pro, I'm going to compare it against the GoPro Hero 12 and the DJI Action 4 because I know that's all the comments would be if I just talked about this today. So let's skateboard around Oceanside real quick, get a bunch of footage, then we'll go back to the office. We'll talk more about these three cameras and how they stack up against each other. Yes, it is magnetic. Magnetic mount, no magnetic mount. GoPro Hero 12, 2023, no magnetic mount. Come on, GoPro. Okay, I'm gonna go try to skateboard holding these three cameras, or maybe I'll put them on this tripod and I'll try to hold a tripod with three action cameras while skateboarding. That sounds like a good idea. Great idea. Okay, that was all three cameras in different lighting scenarios as I skateboarded around Oceanside. And yes, later in this video, I will have a low light comparison between these three cameras. The low light test was pretty shocking, but there's no possible way that I could tell you guys everything that is new on the Ace Pro while also doing a comparison versus the GoPro and the Action 4. So any questions that you have at the end of the video, put them down in the comments. I'm going to do an entire follow-up video trying to answer as many of your questions as possible on this new Ace Pro. Again, 2.4-inch flip-up touchscreen. I love this touchscreen, and a magnetic mount. Again, magnetic mount, no magnetic mount. Thumb screws. Okay, first up in this comparison, let's look at image quality, and you're gonna see right on the front of this camera, the Leica logo, because again, this was co-engineered with Leica. So the lens is a Super Sumerit A 2.6 aperture, and anytime that you see the Leica logo on a camera, you know it's gonna be pretty good. But inside of here, we have a 1/1.3-inch sensor. On the Action 4, we have a 1/1.3-inch sensor. And on the Hero 12, we have a 1/1.9-inch sensor. So a significantly smaller sensor on the Hero 12 than these two cameras. That will come in play when we talk about low light. And in my past videos on the Action 4 versus Hero 12, I think what most people kind of came to was that the Hero 12 still had better image quality in bright scenarios, but that the DJI Action 4 did a little bit better job exposing things and it was better on white balance. And with the Ace Pro, the Ace Pro has this sensor, but has an AI chip to be able to get this image quality. And you see that in almost every one of these kind of side-by-sides with all three cameras, is that the Ace Pro's image quality looks more on par with the Hero 12, but it has the smarts and the brains to get the white balance and exposure more on par with the Action 4. Kind of the best of both worlds with this new camera. And where that really comes into play is in those low light scenarios. Larger sensors and the brains to do a couple little tricks. One being a brand new mode called Pure Video Mode, which is designed for low light. In that Pure Video Mode, it's automatically going to reduce noise, it's going to enhance the brightness, and it's going to give us more dynamic range. And in all my testing downtown, the GoPro just didn't look good at all. It completely fell off in low light of any kind. And then the Action 4 did a good job of maintaining brightness. Again, that's where that sensor comes in, but the dynamic range falls off pretty heavy. I went by the gas lamp sign downtown on my skateboard, and you could see how much more dynamic range was in the Ace Pro over the Action 4. Again, these are literally the exact same sensor. This AI chip is just better able to take advantage of that sensor and give you more dynamic range. As for resolution, we are on par with the Action 4 up to 4K 120, the GoPro 4K 120, and then it can go to 5.3K 60. So you do have a bit more resolution on the Hero 12 than these guys at 60 frames a second. If you're doing 4K, 120 frames a second on all three cameras. And then one really slick feature of the Ace Pro is something called Clarity Zoom, where you can be in 4K and then you can double tap the screen. It will zoom in 2x and still be 4K. Both the Action 4 that can zoom 2x and this guy that can zoom 1.6x, I believe. These are both doing that digitally. So whether you did that in camera or you did it on your computer, you're basically taking a 4K frame, and as you zoom in, you are reducing the resolution. But on this guy, you can be at 4K, you can zoom in 2x, and you are still at 4K. You have not lost any resolution on this camera, even though you have zoomed in. I don't know exactly how that works, but it's fancy as crap. As for photos on these three, we've got 12 megapixels on the Action 4, we have 27 megapixels on the Hero 12, and on this guy, we have up to 48 megapixels on the Ace Pro. Now, not that I use my Action cameras for taking photos very often, but it is nice to know that if you got this in your pocket and you do want to snap some photos, this guy can do it. It also has a very clever feature with photos, like a reason or a way that I will use this for photos. First, let me tell you about pause recording and cancel recording. And these are software features in here. And essentially how they work is this. I can start a clip, and I am now recording a clip. I'm out there, I'm filming, but let's say maybe you're on a bike ride or something like that and you pull up to a stoplight. You're just gonna have like 40 to 60 seconds of nothingness in that clip, and then you get going again, and that's the video that you really want. What you don't want is that 40 to 60 seconds at the stoplight. So in here now, I have a little button where I can pause recording of my clip. So right now, that clip has paused, but when I press the record button again, I've now restarted that clip. It's the same clip. I don't have multiple files in my folder. It is just one clip that I was able to pause and then restart recording from. And being able to pause a clip in the middle of a clip and then continue recording still on that same clip is very clever. But even more clever is that I can swipe over and I can go into my library of videos, of other videos that I've already shot, and I could hit this little button here and I can continue recording. I can add more video footage to a certain clip that's in my library, and it just extends that one clip. I don't end up with multiple files, which could be awesome if maybe you were just doing B-roll for something and you were like, oh, I want all my B-roll shots in one clip. You could just, every time you wanted to shoot B-roll, go back to that clip, hit continue recording, and then all your B-roll from an entire day of shooting will be on one clip, and again, not separate files that you have to hunt down later. Another very clever little software feature is called cancel recording. A lot of times you start a clip, you get recording, maybe you're waiting for somebody to do something, you're waiting for something cool to happen, and it never does. So you hit stop, and then you just have that clip on your folder, and later when you're trying to make a video, you've got to go through all these different clips to find the good one. Well, let's say that I know I don't want this clip at all. I can press and hold the record button, and I've just canceled that clip. It has deleted it from the card. I don't even have to deal with it later. And I thought at first, I was like, ooh, that's one, really clever, but two, what if you accidentally hit it? Like if I turned it on, could I accidentally press this button? And I've tried with like everything, like you can't, like a solid surface, if I was to take a lens hood, like you can't press that button on accident. I think that button underneath that little rubber cover must be like a hard plastic ring with the button inside, because even like with my palm, see, I can't accidentally press, so I can't accidentally cancel my recording. You really have to physically like press down in the middle of that to get it to click and cancel the recording, which again, super clever to be able to clean up your files on the camera. Like you know that minute or 2 minutes that you've been filming, you're like, nothing happened. The guy never did the thing that I was waiting for him to do. I can just delete that file right away. Another very clever software feature on the Ace Pro, which again, neither of these two have, so this isn't so much the comparison portion of the video, just some nifty features from the Ace Pro. This is called gesture control. So they all have voice activation. I can talk to all three of these cameras and get them to start a video, stop a video, take photos, things like that. But this camera can do it by gestures also. So not pressing the record button, but if I just hold my palm up, it'll see my palm like this, and it'll start a video clip. And then when I'm ready to end that video clip, I can hold my palm up and it stops the clip. It's using gestures, seeing me as the person, again, using that AI chip. It's like, you're a person and hey, that's your hand being held up. Let's start a video clip. And then if I'm in photo mode, this is the one that I think I'm gonna use the most, like with my kids, is being able to hold this camera out on a pole and then you give it the peace sign. Watch this, ready? It now starts a 3-second timer and then takes a photo. You just hold the peace sign up to start off. So instead of like pressing the button and then like trying to put it on a sticker, that's kind of what we've always done before, or just kind of like held it out as far as I could. Now I could just have it on a pole, have it held out, get it perfectly framed up and then go, and it's gonna start and take a photo for me. Gesture control on the Ace Pro. So we have pause recording, we have cancel recording, we have gesture control, and the fourth one that I wanted to tell you guys about is AI highlights. So one big thing that you can do with all the cameras is you can highlight portions of your clip. So let's say you record a 30-minute clip, you're gonna be waiting a while that transfers to your phone or your computer. But on the Ace Pro, AI can automatically detect on camera what is cool in your clips. Like when it sees action, it sees something, it's going to automatically highlight that as a flagged portion of your clip. Then when I swipe into my library here, I see at the bottom a little flag and then a number. In this case, there's 3. So when I press on that, it says 5.8 seconds, 3.1 seconds, and 6 seconds. It has found portions of my longer video and it said this portion right here, it's probably important for you. And then from there, I can even do more with it. I can click in the top right corner, I can select all of those files, and then I can say separate clips. So it's gonna take those 3 highlight clips and it's gonna make them separate files on the card. It's gonna keep the original file, but it's gonna take those 3 little highlights and say, here's another file, and another file on your card. So later I can choose to just say, I only want those highlight clips exported to my phone or to my computer. I don't have to worry about the rest of the footage. And then the other option is merge clips, which will take the highlights from a longer clip, pull those out, bring them over here, merge them together, and make a single clip. These are things that like when you use a camera for long enough, when you've been out filming for hours and hours and hours, like this is the kind of stuff that, man, just makes like your workflow so much easier. And again, that's all being done by AI. Let's get these off here and let's like kind of look at the hardware differences between the Ace Pro, the Action 4, and the Hero 12. Let me unthumb screw the Hero 12, because again, magnetic, thumb screw. Okay, on the Action 4, we have a 2.25-inch rear screen. On the Hero 12, we have a 2.27-inch rear screen, and then they both have a 1.4-inch front screen. So when you're using the front screen, 1.4 inches. When you're using the rear screen, 2.25 and 2.27. The Ace Pro, though, has a 2.4-inch rear screen that, again, squeeze those little tabs, flips up to become a front screen. And this is it's so cool. For one, like being in front of the camera, when you're behind the camera, both look amazing, but also like low to the ground shots. Being able to hold it at like 90 degrees and hold it down here, I can now look down and film something, holding it all the way against the ground, or maybe just like kind of walking around like waist level. I can actually see what I'm filming. Maybe I had this mounted on my handlebars for my bike. I can look down and I can see the screen. Or, and this is a weird one, but they said I could do it in a pinch if you didn't have any other POV mount with you. You can get POV shots by kind of lip biting the screen. Don't use your teeth, like don't like, but do this first and then go. POV shot just by lip biting the screen. I've done it a bunch while testing this camera, and it has not hurt the screen at all. Again, on the mounting of this camera, it is not using the DJI mounting. So this is still magnetic. The DJI mounts magnetically, and Insta360 has their own magnetic system. So these two are not cross-compatible with each other, but yes, they are both magnetic. And I would say they're both good. They're both really simple to use and both incredibly secure. Argument that some people have made about this mounting system, like using a magnetic mount over something like a thumb screw mount, is kind of silly, and I think they don't realize what they're looking at. I think the term magnetic mount is what's misleading about all of this. Yes, it is magnetically aligning itself, but it actually has mechanical hooks that are hooking into place and holding it in place. Unless you squeeze these two tabs, like this is just as secure as a thumb screw, but the moment that you do want it out, you reach in there, you press those two tabs, and it pops right off. And I cannot stress how important it is these days to have magnetic mounting. Thumb screws, they're terrible. My life as an action camera user is significantly better because of these two mounting solutions. And it's also significantly better because of the battery life and fast charging of these two cameras. The GoPro Hero 12 does not support fast charging, so 0 to 100 on this battery is almost 2 hours, while the Action 4 and Ace Pro both support fast charging. This guy will do 0 to 80% in 16 minutes, and this guy will do it in 22 minutes. So within 16 or 22 minutes, you have 80% charge on these cameras. Again, 2 hours for the GoPro to charge up. And then lastly, this is gonna be for like a whole separate video, but the Ace Pro is now going to be compatible with your Apple Watch to be able to give it GPS and like those onboard stats with an Apple Watch or a Garmin or this guy right here. This is Insta360's remote control. Can you see? Look at this. This is a live view remote control. Wherever my camera looks, I have a live view remote that it comes with either this little mount that it goes into, which is for like your handlebars, or it goes with this mount, which makes it like a watch. Like this is on your watch. Oh, I just started recording. Hang on. So you wear this on your wrist or your handlebars, and you can have your camera mounted somewhere else. And not only can you control every setting on here, but you have a live preview on your wrist. So you could be bombing along, have this out in front of you or out like on the wing of your airplane or outside of your car, and I have a live preview on my wrist. Today though, I just want to hear your thoughts on the Ace Pro versus the Action 4 versus the Hero 12. From looking at the footage, from seeing the low light, from knowing that this has a larger sensor than this guy, has the same exact sensor as this guy, but has an AI chip built in. It was co-engineered with Leica, has pause recording, cancel recording, magnetic mounting, a 2.4-inch flip-up screen. Did I say gesture control? Has the gesture control on it. There's so much that I feel like I could talk about with this camera. The AI highlights, being able to do that and like the file management that goes with that will save me a ton of time in post. Yeah, for me right now, like this is the camera that will 100% be in my bag. But what about you? If you didn't have any action camera right now, which of these three would you go out and buy? And if you have one of these two, or you have a previous version, like one of the Hero 10 or 11s, or the Action 2 or 3, would you upgrade to the Ace Pro? Like, is this enough of a change, enough of a jump for you to make that jump? For me, the flip screen, man. That's great. Still waterproof. Waterproof to 33 feet, waterproof to 33 feet, waterproof to 60 feet on the Action 4, but still waterproof and flip up screen. Let me know what you guys think. I am very curious. And again, any of your questions that you have, put them in the comments so that I can make that follow-up video and try to answer as many of your questions as possible. I will see you soon. How does the Action 4 compare to the Ace Pro in a low light scenario? Maybe these lights in the background might be a good dynamic range test. Ooh, I can see a lot more detail in the water on the Ace Pro than in the Action 4. What do these two look like? What do you guys think between the Ace Pro and Action 4 in low light? Again, the GoPro just looks like trash in low light. I've said that for years, and I've always said also like action cameras don't need to be good in low light, but now that they are starting to look good in low light, I like it. I didn't think I needed it. I didn't think I wanted it even, and then I got it, and now I like it.